What's up, everyone? It's Hockey Strix here, and today I'm bringing you my 2020 NHL Mock Draft. You may be thinking to yourself, how did this man end up with this wacky draft order? Well, I did a full simulation of Phase 1 of the Draft Lotto, the play-in rounds, and Phase 2 of the Draft Lotto for my very first video ever on this channel. I'll link that in the description below and put an annotation on the screen. In my simulation, 3 placeholder teams actually won all the top 3 picks, and then Vancouver, Calgary, and the Predators lost their play-in round, and they won the top 3 picks, and now here we are with this wacky draft order that could potentially happen in real life. Who knows? We'll see. Without further ado, let's get into my very first pick. The first pick's going to be exactly what you would expect. It's going to be Alexis Lafreniere. Easy pick. They don't need a centerman. They don't really need defenseman. They don't need a goalie. You add Alexis Lafreniere on that left wing. You have Elias Pettersson and then someone on the right wing, Brock Besser, whoever, and you just have one of the best first lines in the NHL. Like, this is a no-brainer pick. The Calgary Flames, they have a good first-line center there, Sean Monahan, but Backlund's getting pretty old, and he's probably going to fit a nice third-line center role by the time Quinton Byfield is ready to be their first or second-line center. This is a great pick for the Calgary Flames. They probably never thought they'd find themselves in the position to get Quinton Byfield. Now, for the Nashville Predators, this one's a weird one. They probably wouldn't expect to find themselves here because they probably thought they were going to go far in the playoffs and whatnot. But I have read that there is one player behind Alexis Lafreniere who's the most NHL ready. And I also think that the Nashville Predators are good on defense and they are probably looking for a centerman. So here I have them taking Marco Rossi with the 3rd pick. Apparently he's a very just diehard athlete, trains all the time, very professional, and he's the closest NHL ready behind Alexis Lafreniere. I think the Predators probably think to themselves at this point, how did we end up here? We're still good. We need the most NHL ready guy we can get. And then we come to the Detroit Red Wings, who fall all the way to 4th. They're probably pretty routed about it, but they shouldn't be too routed because they get to take Tim Stützle from the Dell. He has a lot of offensive potential. They should be pretty happy with this. It looks like he could be a centerman or a left winger. Who knows? So I guess ideally they would want to be a center, but they do have Dylan Larkin. If he turns out to just be a stud left wing, that'll work out for them as well. So I think they pretty much at this point, if they have to take 4th, they can't go wrong with Tim Stützle. Next, we get to the Ottawa Senators, who probably also pretty pissed off from falling because they had the highest actual percentage total at getting Alexis Lafreniere. I think they're pretty set on defense, so they won't be taking Jamie Drysdale. They do pretty much need a goalie for the future, but it's probably too early to take Askarov. So I have them taking Lucas Raymond, who is potentially going to go 3rd overall in this draft. I think he still could go 3rd overall in this draft if the draft order is different. I just think Predators and Wings will take those centers over Lucas Raymond. He'll fall to Ottawa 5th, which I think is a great player for them to pick up, a great goal-scoring right winger. And they still kind of do need a first-line center, which is where Cole Perfetti comes in. Because apparently he's going to be able to play center, hopefully in the NHL. He's a great goal scorer. The Ottawa Senators, I'm not saying they don't have center depth in that system they're developing there. They have lots of center depth. Josh Norris, Brown, Colin White, all those guys. But Cole Perfetti looks like he's going to be able to play center. He can score. He can assist. He can just do a lot. And if he ends up being that first-line center for them, along with Lucas Raymond, Brady Tkachuk, whoever else, it's going to look pretty nice for them. And even if he doesn't end up being a center, he's just going to be an elite winger who can score. And then one of those guys I listed could end up being your first-line center, potentially, if they develop correctly. Who knows? I don't think they can go wrong here with Cole Perfetti. The next team to pick here in my mock draft will be the LA Kings, who have apparently developed, according to a lot of people in hockey, the best prospect pool. And they have a lot of forwards there. Alex Turcotte, Kaliev. I know I'm missing some big ones there, but they have a lot of forwards. So I think they're going to get to take Mr. Jamie Drysdale at 7, which is a great place to pick him, in my opinion. I don't think he's a top 5 player in this draft, although he could be a stud, but there's a lot of offense here, and I think if he does go top 5, it's going to be because a team needs a defenseman. But in this mock draft, no one there really needs a defenseman that bad, so he falls to LA, and they happily take him here at 7 to bolster their prospect pool. Next, we go to pick 8, where the Anaheim Ducks have fallen. The Anaheim Ducks, obviously, they have a goalie They have some solid forwards and some solid defensemen. They could probably use a defenseman, but they could also use an elite goal scorer on the wing, such as Alexander Holtz. I think if they happen to fall to 8 and then Holtz falls to 8 with them, they got to be just happy to have pulled off Alexander Holtz at 8. And they just take him, great goal scorer, fit him well there for them. They need the elite goal scoring that he can bring. The next part of this draft is where it got kind of tough for me because New Jersey, I really, for some reason, pictured them getting Lucas Raymond or Holtz or someone there in the top 6 or whatever. But here they've fallen all the way to 9. So I've read that the New Jersey Devils have a very strong connection with the Ottawa 67s. They have like 4 or 5 prospects from there. And at this pick 9, it feels like you could go almost anywhere. I don't see them taking Askarov because they have Blackwood. I don't see them taking a center because they have Heischer and Jack Hughes. And this is where you guys could easily disagree with me, but I think they're going to take that Ottawa 67 prospect who scored 52 goals in the OHL. Jack Quinn will go to the New Jersey Devils. Here at the 10th pick, we come to the Buffalo Sabres, who are also probably routed that they fell this far after missing out on playoffs, having Montreal get in and whatnot like that. But I think they could probably use some offense still. But they have Jack Eichel, obviously, as their first-line center, and I think they're probably starting to feel that Dylan Cousins is going to be that second-line center for them. He looks like he's going to pan out pretty good. So I don't think they're going to take a forward here. I think they're going to take the second defenseman in the draft, Jake Sanderson, left-handed shot. They have a lot of depth on the right side of their D. Everyone's telling them need to trade someone, but the left side is pretty weak. Rasmus Dahlin, obviously the first-line guy. And then Jake Sanderson will look very nice directly behind him for them if they can figure everything else out. Next, we come to the Montreal Canadiens at pick 11, who just squeaked into the playoffs only to lose against Pittsburgh and get the 11th overall pick instead of a lottery pick, which I can see happen in real life. They need some D, but they also badly need a first-line center, which they've been looking for what seems like forever at this point, which is why I think they're going to take Anton Lundell, one of the best two-way players in the game. I think he could end up being like a Patrice Bergeron type of guy, potentially. Who knows? I think this is a great pick for them. I think it'll be the best center they've had in a long time, unless Kotkaniemi or Suzuki somehow passes him. But with that center depth they have, I think he could be the best out of them. If not, he'll be the second-line center behind Kotkaniemi or maybe Suzuki or something like that. But I think they can't go wrong here with Lundell. And Sanderson goes ahead of them for that defenseman that they might look at taking. Over to the Chicago Blackhawks, who I think are going to be that team to take the chance on Askarov, one of the best goalie prospects we've seen in a long time. They have Corey Crawford aging, not as good anymore, and they just traded Robin Lehner at the deadline. I think this is a no-brainer for them almost, even though people obviously are scared to take goalies this early. But this kid could be just a goalie of the future and carry them. Who knows when? Carter Hart came in quick. Maybe this guy comes over to NA quickly and is just a stud for them. Well, Kane and Taves are still around. Now, my next 3 picks is where it gets really, really tough in my opinion. Once Askarov's gone, Lundell, all these guys that are a little bit late, but here it could get crazy. Who knows? There's so many options. I think the Rangers love NCAA players, and they need an offensive weapon to add to what they already have, and they take Dylan Holloway with the 13th overall pick. Next, we have the Florida Panthers, who badly need a second-line center, in my opinion. Again, lots of options here, but I think they will take Connor Zary to fill that second-line center void. They have Barkov. This could work out beautifully for them if they happen to miss the playoffs. With the 15th pick here in this mock draft, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets, who need just about anything. They could take anyone from any position, but I think they're going to take Dawson Mercer. Could be a really good playmaker for them, but can also score. Apparently wins a lot of 50-50 battles. Add his skill in. Seems like a Columbus player, fitting well with Torts, and just do well there with Columbus. I think they would love to take him at 15th. I just want to say that I don't think these are the top 15 players in the draft in this order. I just think this is what these teams will take based on their needs in the draft. Make sure to leave feedback in the comments. Tell me who you would take for each team. Like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Hockey Strix.